Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is GK. Welcome to Living the Hobby High Life. That's what I'm getting ready to do today. It's Friday, getting ready to start up the weekend. I had a great time watching the game last night, the Buccaneers and the Bears. Kind of a surprising result to see the Bears come out on top. But nonetheless, it's still a great game. And anytime we can watch, these guys on the field, Khalil Mack, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, I got to give him props for playing hurt. Kyle Fuller, there's just a lot of exciting young players on both of those sides of the ball. I like the game. I like Thursday night football. I like Aikman and Buck. I think that the more I listen to Troy Aikman, the more he reminds me of a younger John Madden, to be honest with you. And he's pretty entertaining to me. But let me get into what we're putting in the mail today. Just a handful of cards. This month has been a little bit lighter on the numbers, but nonetheless, we're still grateful to be sending out cards every day. So we're just going to start it off with a 2019 Parkside Major League Lacrosse. Dave Cottle, he's the coach of the Chesapeake Bayhawks. And, we had bought a hobby box of these cards, about a summer ago. And lacrosse, for as popular as it is across the nation, doesn't get a lot of hobby love, if any love, and at all. But I will tell you this, these cards were very popular, and it's probably the only reason why we don't sell more of these is probably because of the duration of the listing. I mean, that's sold off a listing that's well over a year old at this point. We've got a 2018 Landon Collins Prism. And of course, he's with the Redskins now, and this is when he was with the Giants. And he's one of my Madden guys. I always liked having him in the defensive backfield during a game of Madden. I'm not sure if that's still the case today, but it was one of the premier safeties in the league until he went to Washington. And I think that says more about Washington than it does the player. Then we've got let me see here. 2017 certified 26 out of 99, Doug Baldwin, red. And this was a player that, great receiver, fit with the Seahawks system. Kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it other than he was a good player in the right system. Everything fit. And he didn't play as long as you'd have hoped, but, he moved on to other things, and it's nice to be able to share that with another collector. And then we have another DeAndre Hopkins rookie card. This is a Momentum from 2013. You can see it's got the rookie card stamp. It's a three patch, one color, three patch setup. It's numbered out of 299, 76 out of 299. And we'll be mailing this out today as well. So that's that, for the sales. But yesterday, along with these sales going down, we got a question from an Instagram follower. And what I'd like to do, I'd like to spin the phone around and kind of talk with you guys about that a little bit before I sign off. So if you don't mind, let me flip this around. I'll be right back.
All right, man, that was painless. So anyway, yesterday, a follower hit us up and asked us a question that was a pretty interesting question because I think it applies to a lot of people. If you're trying to sell cards, and this guy was kind of just getting into the game, so we wanted to share with him some of our experience and see if we could help him to just basically enjoy the process of selling his cards to get other cards, if we could help him enjoy that more. So what the deal was the question was, hey, GK, man, how do I control the price of an auction listing, i.e., let's say, like, for instance, this DeAndre Hopkins, let's say that's a $25 card, and I want to make sure that this card sells for $25. And the simple answer to that is we can't control it. The seller has no control over what a buyer will pay as far as the purchase price, the final purchase price for an auction card, regardless of price, whether this is for $1, $1,000, $10,000, $100, whatever it may be. We can't control what somebody's going to pay for that card to close that auction. There are several factors that can influence how much that auction could go for. Okay, so you have this card listed, and let's say you have it up there, you have an opening price. So maybe you could open it at 99 cents and think, hey, because it's cheaper, more people will look at it and more people will want to buy. Typically what I've learned with that is if you're going to sell one card, you might as well sell 4 or 5 cards. And the reason why is because this one might not hit its price. This one might exceed the price that's listed, and these two might just come in right where you want them. And then that kind of helps to cover the loss that you took on this one. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing that you can do to influence views, a lot of people don't like this and how eBay handles this side of it, but the return policy. If anytime I go in there and I select no returns, what happens is eBay takes note of that. And then they'll say, well, if this card could possibly be seen by 10,000 people, you don't have returns on there. We're only going to show it to maybe 1,500 or 2,000 people. So it limits, the algorithm limits the amount of people that will see that card, therefore reducing the possibility for this card to sell at a full auction price. Another thing is the photos. The lower the quality of photos, the less likely we are to achieve the full asking price. So there is that, those are some variables. There's a lot of different variables involved in a card achieving full price. So it's always kind of interesting, and the thing that I told him, basically is, hey man, we can't control what somebody pays for the card, and we can really only speculate what that card might be worth, because a lot of, there's a popular saying in the hobby that hey, what's this card worth? Only what somebody will pay for it. And what I've kind of learned to be the truth is, what is this card worth? It is worth what the last person paid for it, but it absolutely has no impact on if we were selling a second card, what that one's going to go for, because there's just some variables in there, especially on an auction type listing. Now, we could list that with a reserve, say, hey, it's a $25 card. I'm going to start at 99 cents, but I'm going to put a reserve at $12. And if you do that, that reserve is going to cost you increased final value fees. So if you're just a personal seller and you don't have a store, you're going to have increased sales fees. So adding a reserve price, I wouldn't recommend it unless it's an extremely high-end card and you have the infrastructure in place to cover those additional fees. One of the other things that we kind of talked about was, so, we knew that we couldn't control the price. There's external factors that influence what that card will eventually sell for. The other thing too is, what's your goal? Is my goal to sell one card for $25, or is my goal maybe my goal is to buy another card? Maybe I want to buy a Mosaic Joe Burrow auto. So I want to move some cards, and these cards, I have to get a set price. So maybe that's 25, maybe that's 5, maybe that's, 10, maybe that's $1, hypothetically speaking, of course. So you got to have a goal, right? So what's the number that I want to hit? And if I just list one card and hope that I hit my goal, the likelihood of me reaching that sales goal of, for instance, $50 is quite a bit lower. So one of the things I also recommended to him was, hey, if you want to sell one card, sell 5 cards, and then put a number on what you want out of those 5 cards. You're more likely to hit a goal on several cards than just one card alone. You get more chances it's like buying lottery tickets. The more tickets you buy, the better chance you have of winning, or the probability is higher that you'll hit the jackpot. So that was kind of some of the things that we talked about. We also talked about what do you do when a buyer doesn't pay, and maybe that's something that we'll discuss at a later time, but I did cover that kind of short and succinct. But the main thing was, in our longest conversation was that, how do we control what cards end up selling for? And basically I told him, I said, what I've learned and what's kind of worked for me and kind of gave me that feeling of the most control over what that card sells for is to list them as a fixed price listing. And that fixed price listing, I'll accept offers. Put a auto decline amount that, if you want $25 for this card, put down, like, for instance, $19.99. Anybody that bids under $19.99 will be automatically declined. And then you can also put an auto accept. So maybe if I want $25 for the card, I put the listing out to accept automatic bids at $22.50, right? So, that way if somebody offered $22.75, it automatically sells. The thing with fixed price listings with best offer, though, is a lot of times, like, if I list this, hey, $25 fixed price listing, and then I click the box to require immediate payment for this, if I accept an offer underneath that fixed price, then eBay doesn't require them to pay immediately. So you can run into the scenario that we originally started talking about, where what do you do when a buyer doesn't pay? So that's that. It's a tough thing. There's a lot of variables in there, but like I said, figure out what your goal is. What do you want to sell it for, and why do you want to sell it? Take the best pictures you can. Understand that there's external factors, the eBay algorithms, or just, competitive market pricing too. If you're trying to sell a card that there's 100 of them up there, 1,000 of those cards, it's going to be kind of tougher. So understand that there's some variables, and understand that you may or may not reach the number you want, but it's easier to reach that number if you have more opportunity for yourself out there. So that's kind of the best answer I could give him, kind of in a short roundabout way. And I tried to condense that for you guys to share on video, because really that's the whole point of this process, or, this channel, is to just kind of share experience with other people to help them be better. Because if we can share our information with you, and then you put it to work and it works for you, hopefully you outperform us. To be honest with you, that's really what it's all about. I mean, that makes it fun for the hobby. And with the way things are going, as far as the price escalation of cards across the board, the product availability, product is hard to find for all of us, whether it's retail or hobby, whether it's there on the shelf or, can we afford it? You got to kind of find some ways to enjoy the hobby and have fun. And luckily that's what this guy's doing. So shout out to you, James, man. We appreciate you taking the time to hit us up and ask us, ask us what we knew. Thanks for the opportunity to share our experience, and we're glad you sat in and checked this out as well. So thank you to you, and we'll be seeing you again real soon. Have a great day. Start your weekend off right. Live that hobby high life all day long. Spread love, appreciation, and respect to everybody you come across, and especially your family. So we'll talk to you again next time, and hopefully that next time is tomorrow.